The UA that Mr. Barber provided on January 27th returned positive for amphetamine, methamphetamine, and morphine. Later, probation received another non-compliance report from Friendship Diversion with another positive UA. It was positive for amphetamine, methamphetamine, MDMA, THC, fentanyl, and alcohol. Probation's recommendation is to hold Mr. Barber until an inpatient facility can be arranged, which it seems like that's what counsel has done. The state's position is that Mr. Barber, I think, has 6 DUIs as well as a pending DUI in Everett. I've spoken to the Everett prosecutors and they are intending to refile that once tox results come back. Mr. Barber's criminal history is extremely long. He's got a huge number of assault convictions, the DUIs, as I've said, operating without ignition interlock several times, driving while license suspended in various degrees several times. I should just note also, he was released on January 27th or January 25th, and by January 27th returned a UA that had amphetamine, methamphetamine, and morphine. In the state's opinion, the only option here is for the court to issue sanctions today and sentence Mr. Barber on this case to impose all time remaining and authorize CDP. State's position is it just simply can't risk the public safety risk of having Mr. Barber released. I think counsel's argument is going to be that he hasn't done inpatient treatment before. I don't know if that's true or not. He's got, like I said, 6 DUIs, a million other convictions. I haven't been able to go through each of these to figure out whether or not he's done inpatient treatment. I have 2 final arguments for the court. One is that he served 141 days in custody on this case and then immediately began using multiple substances again. From what I saw in the furlough request, treatment is estimated to be 28 to 45 days. I don't know if Mr. Barber was using drugs in the jail, but my thought would be he had an opportunity to abstain for 141 days and apparently didn't take that opportunity. I don't think treatment is going to be effective in this case. Final thing I have to say is that when this case was mine in November of last year, I offered for Mr. Barber to resolve his cases and impose 364 authorized CDP, which would have allowed him to get out of jail in 240 days. I just want to note for the court that since I sent that offer, it has been exactly 239 days. So the state is only left wondering if only the appropriate resolution would have been reached at the time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Give me just a second. Ms. Simmons.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mr. Farrow and Mr. Barber. Your Honor, we're not here on what could have happened, what will happen, what might happen. We're here on what has happened and how we can address that situation. Mr. Barber, according to him, and he should know, has never availed himself of an inpatient facility. CDP is what is called a level 2.5 from the American Society of Addiction Medicine. It is a controlled environment. Clients go there, they go 4 days a week, it's 12 weeks, and it's in a jail setting. This is not real life. Mr. Barber would be around people in the jail, but there's no real life experience as much as there can be in a controlled environment that's different for inpatient treatment. Inpatient treatment is what is known as a level 3.5. The highest level would be a level 4. So it is an increased level of treatment. The standard is to assist patients whose addiction is so out of control that they need a 24-hour inpatient environment to initiate a recovery process that has failed to progress in the past at a lower level of care. So we are asking exactly from what Mr. Farrow is talking about. Mr. Barber needs a higher level of care than he could possibly get in custody. He has not been allowed or has not taken, he has not been able to do so at this time. I don't know the reasons why, but I believe he should be given an opportunity to at least try. When you go to inpatient treatment, you have people around 24/7. You have people who may be coming from in custody, but you also have people who are not just in the jail environment. You have people from all different walks of life. You get to have other providers come into the treatment center, and you get to go out into, sometimes people are taken to AA meetings. So you get to meet people who are quote unquote on the outside. So you can make connections. So when you are released, you would be able to possibly have connections on the outside, so that maybe you can maintain your sobriety. That's very important. Connections make a big deal in the life of someone who's being asked to remain sober after such a history. It isn't easy to get off drugs. If it was, we wouldn't have a lot of people in custody. We wouldn't have a lot of cases before us. Mr. Barber is well aware of the battle he faces, and that is before him. He did not choose to take the offer previously. He wanted the opportunity to try to get out of custody, and obviously that did not take effect. He needs inpatient treatment. Going to CDP may be a good thing. However, he should have the opportunity to avail himself of the type of treatment that he needs. The next level after an inpatient facility, just for the court's awareness, is detox. After that, it is medically supervised detoxification in a hospital. So inpatient treatment is not CDP, it is above CDP, but it's before going to an actual hospital or a detox environment, which is typically done for people who are in severe detoxification, and then they would be medically taken off the substance and put on medication to help them come down from withdrawals. Mr. Barber has a 20-year-old son. He has a almost 7-year-old son. He would live with his mother. He would return to the jail after he completes the inpatient program. I don't know how long it would be. I am not a chemical dependency counselor. I did not do the evaluation. It was done by someone who's licensed to do so. It is their opinion that he would benefit from an inpatient environment, which he has not had the opportunity to do at this time. I know he has a history that's rotten. That's exactly it. I'm looking at it too. Mr. Barber doesn't want to be back here any more than he did the last time. It's not easy to get off drugs, especially some of the drugs he is on, but he should be given the opportunity to do so. He will come back to the court after going to the facility. He's currently been in custody for 53 days. Although his history is atrocious, this is his first violation. We're being asked to sentence him to all the remaining time on the very first violation without giving him the opportunity to try to amend that action by going to inpatient treatment, which is what the request is. I don't want to impose sanctions today. I want to give him the opportunity to prove to the court, but most of all, to prove to himself that he can be successful at doing this. And that's all I'm asking today, is that he be released. He would be released next week. Samantha Gilbertson of Northwest Resources would transport him. She is the one who has spoken to him in the past. She is the one that wrote the letter about the inpatient facility. She would also pick him up and return him to the jail after completion of treatment. And that's what we're asking for, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Farrow?
Yes, Your Honor. The first thing I'd note is that although technically this is the first violation, what we're looking at is he took 2 UAs, both were positive. He didn't participate in any treatment and essentially disappeared. And then he did disappear when he was on warrant status for the last 3 months. So the reason that I believe we don't have more violations is just because Mr. Barber's been on the run. Additionally, I'm looking at a history that includes, look, I hate to go here, and there's so many violent convictions here that I wouldn't want Mr. Barber in the car with a representative from Northwest Resources or wherever it is. I would just strongly ask the court to consider public safety here and impose all suspended time and authorize CDP. Thank you.
So as indicated by the state, as far by my count, this is his 5th and 6th alcohol related convictions. There's been some other allegations without convictions. There's been some dismissals. There's apparently one pending in Everett that, according to Mr. Farrow, the city of Everett intends to pursue. he was not given the full year in jail, which it's not uncommon to give that when this case is resolved, and by all indications barely lasted 48 hours. And so on these cases, he's been on the case ending in 383 days, 383, yeah, 348 days suspended. On the case ending in 723, he has 223 days suspended. By my count, he's been in custody now for 51 days. So on the case ending in 723, yes.
I did call Mr. Rhodes. He has 54 days for credit for time served.
Okay, give me just a moment. I'm going to give that credit on cause number ending in 723. So on the cause number ending in 383, I'll reimpose 348 days in jail. At this time, suspend none. He has 348 days to do on that cause number. He is eligible for the chemical dependency program at the Thurston County Jail. On the case ending in 723, I'll reimpose 223 days in jail, suspend none. Credit for 54 days served. He has 169 left to do on that. They can run concurrent with each other, but the total time spent with 348, which is plenty of time to complete the chemical dependency program. On the DWLS in the second, it'll be 364 days in jail, all suspended. If there's violations, that can be readdressed as to whether or not additional time should be imposed. But Mr. Barber, I'll just speak directly to you. There's just too much at this point. You were given a chance and you were right on the razor's edge there. And just in a very short period of time, it all went to, well, it just didn't go to a great place. And so that's what I'm going to do here in these cases. And that's it here for today.
Okay, so how much
Do you
time
have
do I have?
questions?
Just
What's that?
How much time am I doing?
Well, on the case that the relevant portion is 348 days. And you're eligible for the chemical dependency program. I would urge you to take advantage of it. Ms. Simmons spoke a bit about that, but I will tell you what I have heard from that, from people who've successfully completed that. It's life-changing for the people who apply themselves. And so I don't see any reason why that can't be the same for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Barber. You can give me a call.
Good to see you again.